Hello, everyone. Today, I'm thrilled to share a deeply moving story with you. Set amidst the tumultuous backdrop of World War II. It's a tale of quiet courage, profound loss, and the unyielding power of spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. Titled The Unheard Melody, this narrative transports us to a secluded convent in the heart of occupied Italy, immersing us in the life of a young woman who discovers an extraordinary purpose within its ancient walls. It explores themes of family bonds, both those we are born into and those we choose, the raw depths of emotion, the enduring strength of love, and the unique, often suffocating sense of loneliness that war can inflict. Imagine a world where the very sound of music becomes an act of defiance and a sacred vow transforms into a dangerous secret. What happens when faith itself becomes a weapon against tyranny? And the quiet devotion of a nun holds the key to countless lives. I hope Sister Elena's journey resonates with you as much as it does with me. The Unheard Melody. The ancient stone walls of the convent of Santa Maria, nestled high in the sun-drenched, yet now subtly menacing Umbrian hills, once truly resonated. They hummed with the harmonious chants of the sisters, a perpetual, soothing undercurrent, and vibrated with the sweet, pure, and often powerful notes of the chapel organ. Now, the glorious music was muted, stifled, replaced by the distant, ominous rumble of war echoing from the valleys below, and the hushed, fearful whispers of a world held captive. For me, 24-year-old Sister Elena, my life of quiet devotion felt increasingly, brutally intertwined with the harsh, unforgiving realities outside our sacred walls. The peaceful solitude I once cherished, a solace for my soul, now felt like a profound, aching loneliness, a heavy, suffocating shroud that covered my heart, chilling me to the core. Before the war, my life had been a joyful crescendo, a symphony of vibrant sounds and rich sensations. My father, a passionate music teacher in our small Tuscan village, his hands always smelling faintly of rosin and old wood, would fill our modest home with the vibrant, soaring melodies of his violin. He'd patiently teach me to play the piano, his gentle, guiding hands moving over mine on the cool ivory keys, correcting my spirit. My mother, whose laughter was like a clear melodic bell echoing through our olive groves, would tend our small vineyard, her presence, weaving the threads of our family life into a rich, comforting tapestry full of sunshine and shared simple pleasures. My younger brother, Marco, a mischievous, bright boy with an angelic singing voice that could silence even the cicadas, often joined our impromptu concerts in the evenings, his pure soprano blending perfectly with father's violin and mother's alto. The love in our home was expressed not just in words, but in shared harmonies that fill the air inspirited. Musical lessons that stretched late into the twilight and in the deep, unwavering certainty of our bond. A personal symphony of joy and belonging. I remember the earthy scent of grapes ripening in the late summer sun, the smooth, cool feel of ivory keys beneath my eager fingers, and the comforting, reassuring weight of my father's hand on my shoulder as he corrected a missed note, a slight hesitation in a difficult passage. These were the vivid, cherished memories of my past, now distant, almost ghostly, like faint, unheard melodies carried away on the wind. Then, without warning, the conflict exploded across Italy, a discordant, brutal crash that shattered everything. Marco, barely 17, his angelic voice now filled with youthful defiance and the fire of rebellion, had insisted on joining the partisans, disappearing into the perilous, unforgiving mountains, leaving behind only a hastily scrawled note and a silent, aching void. My parents, caught in the escalating brutality of the conflict, the innocent victims of a senseless rage, were lost in a devastating bombing raid on our village, their home, our home, reduced to dust and memories. I found myself utterly alone, adrift in a world of chaos and profound sorrow, desperate for solace, desperate for a new purpose, a new anchor. I had sought refuge and, in a way, a new form of family within these ancient convent walls, exchanging my vibrant musical past for a life of quiet devotion, a new kind of harmony in God's service. But the once magnificent symphony of my life had been brutally, irrevocably silenced, leaving gaping, aching voids that no amount of prayer or sacred music could entirely fill. I continued my duties as a novice, finding a strange, almost paradoxical solace in the rhythmic, ordered routines of convent life. I tended the quiet gardens, their flowers a stark reminder of Father's shop, assisted with the meager, rationed meals, and spent long, contemplative hours in the chapel. My fingers would often linger, almost yearningly, on the silent organ keys, a constant, physical testament to my past, to the music that still lived within me. But my heart carried a heavy, dangerous secret. I wasn't just a nun training. Under the guise of tending to the infirmary, the Mother Superior, a stern but deeply compassionate woman with eyes that missed nothing, quietly used the convent as a temporary safe house for Allied escapees and Jewish refugees, their presence a constant, terrifying risk. My sharp mind and innate knowledge of the local dialect, combined with my inconspicuous appearance in a habit, made me invaluable to their clandestine efforts. The constant, gnawing anxiety of discovery, the cold, paralyzing fear of an unexpected German raid, was a sharp blade of emotion that never dulled, always pricking at my soul. even during the most peaceful prayers. My most profound secret, however, wasn't just about the hidden refugees, but about something far more dangerous, far more vital. It was about the small, meticulously concealed compartment beneath a loose floor tile in the chapel sacristy, hidden beneath faded tapestries. This was not just any hiding place. It was a makeshift sanctuary for a vital, miniaturized radio transmitter, used by the Mother Superior to relay crucial intelligence to the resistance fighters deep in the mountains. Only a few trusted sisters, those whose faith was matched only by their courage, knew of its existence. This clandestine work, performed under the ever-present shadow of discovery, was a peculiar, dangerous form of love. A defiant, desperate act of clinging to hope and the possibility of a better future for my ravaged homeland and for my lost brother wherever he might be fighting. Each crackle of static, each whispered code was a testament to our collective will to survive, to resist. One particularly harsh winter night, a frantic, desperate knock echoed through the quiet halls, chilling me to the bone. It was a local farmer, his face pale and contorted with terror, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He brought devastating news. A group of partisans, including Marco, my brother, had been gravely wounded in a brutal skirmish nearby and were desperately seeking refuge in a remote, abandoned chapel trapped by a relentless German patrol. They needed immediate medical aid and, crucially, a way to signal their precise location to the main partisan unit. My heart pounded, a frantic drum against my ribs, echoing the terror in my soul. Marco, my brother, my last remaining family. I looked at Mother Superior, my eyes pleading, a silent, desperate prayer. I knew the abandoned chapel. I had played its dusty, out-of-tune organ as a curious child, its echoes now haunted by war. I also knew the treacherous, almost invisible mountain paths, known only to the local shepherds and, perhaps, to my brother. The loneliness of this impossible choice was immense, crushing me beneath its weight. I was the only one who could do this, the only one with the knowledge and the courage to act. I thought of my father's steady, patient hand teaching me the complex, beautiful harmonies of a Bach fugue, how each note had its place. I thought of my mother's gentle strength, her quiet resilience in the face of hardship, and of Marco's pure, angelic voice, now perhaps silenced by fear or worse, driven by a surging wave of desperate emotion. The cold grip of fear, the burning call of duty, profound, aching grief for all that was lost, and an unwavering love for my lost family and for the fragile hope of freedom for my homeland. I made a reckless, terrifying decision. I would go. Under the deepest, most impenetrable cover of night, illuminated only by the faint glow of the snow, I prepared. I retrieved the small, precious radio transmitter from its hidden place. Its cold metal, a stark contrast to my trembling hands. I slipped out of the convent, dressed in a simple, dark cloak that offered little protection against the biting, unforgiving cold. Moving like a shadow through the snow-covered, desolate hills. The journey was harrowing. German patrols were everywhere, their harsh voices and powerful flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness, searching for any sign of life. I navigated by instinct, by the fading memories of childhood paths, and by the faint familiar silhouettes of the ancient olive groves, my small figure, blending into the shadows, narrowly avoiding capture, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs, threatening to burst. The cold, empty miles stretched before me, each one a testament to my profound isolation, to the sheer, terrifying scale of my desperate task. I reached the abandoned chapel, its ancient stone walls looming like a ghostly sentinel against the pale, pre-dawn sky, a silent witness to centuries of solitude. Inside, I found Marco and a few other partisans, injured and weak, huddled together for warmth, their faces pale and drawn. Marco, pale and trembling with pain and disbelief, looked at me, his eyes wide with a desperate, fragile hope. "Elena, sister, is it really you?" he whispered, his voice thin, barely audible. "I am here, little brother," I replied, my voice raspy with emotion, reaching for him. I tended to their wounds as best I could, my hands usually reserved for rosaries and musical scales, now steady despite my internal tremor, cleaning and binding with the meager supplies I carried. Then, with an urgency that defied my exhaustion, I set up the small radio. The chapel's old organ, though dusty, some pipes missing, provided the perfect, inconspicuous cover for the miniaturized transmitter, its wooden casing echoing a forgotten grandeur. I would send their signal, a desperate message hidden in music, a symphony of survival. With my freezing, aching fingers, I pressed the keys of the silent organ, not to play a recognized piece, but to create a unique, coded melody. I used the rhythmic puffs of air from the bellows and the faint creaks of the old wood to generate a series of precise, rhythmic clicks and hums, a signal only the resistance would recognize. It was a desperate, unheard symphony, a final, defiant act of love, an unwavering courage broadcast into the vast, indifferent night, hoping it would reach its intended ears. Hours later, as dawn slowly approached, painting the sky with streaks of cold gray and tentative pink, a small group of partisan reinforcements arrived, their faces grim, but their movements swift, guided by my musical signal. They carried wounded to safety, their shadows lengthening in the early light. Marco, weak but miraculously alive, looked at me, his eyes filled with tears, a profound gratitude shining through his pain. "You saved us, Elena," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "Your music, it brought them." I simply nodded, tears streaming down my face, not of sorrow, but of profound relief and quiet triumph, washing away the dust of the journey. My loneliness had not vanished entirely. The echoes of my parents would forever haunt me, a silent void at the heart of my being. But it was now filled with a fierce, quiet pride, a profound understanding of my unique, vital contribution to something larger than myself. My love for them, for my homeland, for the freedom they fought for, burned brighter than ever within me, a sacred flame. I was no longer just a nun or a sister. I was a silent guardian, a hidden broadcaster, a vital link in the chain of resistance, forever hearing the unheard melody of my family's legacy echoing in the vast, defiant mountains. And in that, I found a new, profound peace.